In him Nirvana lives and speaks and acts. It is there, then you see, it is that impossibly creating a universe. Then you really create a new universe. Then you really create a universe. Savitri is told to totally dissolve herself into God. Nothing is left behind, you see. And she does it till even her body floats like a shell, empty shell. It floats like an empty shell. And the point is here, in the case of Savitri, she could have totally disappeared into God. She is told to annul into God, and she could have totally disappeared into God. That would have been the end of Savitri. But then there is something in Savitri which keeps her link, her connection with the earth. Savitri cannot disappear. Savitri cannot walk away from the earth. She has a work to do here. And that work she can do only when she has established nothing but God in her. She can do her work only when she has established only God in her. Then only she can do that work. She has a work to do. She has a role to play. She has to conquer death. She cannot conquer death by keeping death within you. The elements of death are there in consciousness. You are keeping that thing and you are, how can you? It is a kind of a contradiction. You have to empty it out fully. That is what Nirvana does. In him, Nirvana lives and speaks and acts impossibly, creating a universe. And eternal zero, you see now again, he's talk of cipher, zero, shunya, is his formless self. You see, there is no form now, you see. His spirit, the void, impersonal, absolute. Take not that stride, O growing soul of man. So this Narad is telling the mortal, don't follow that path of the Titan. Don't follow the path of Titan. Be wise. Take not that stride, O growing soul of man. Cast not thyself into that night of God. This is a terrible night. Once you have gone into that night, annul yourself into the Titan's hand, there is no way out to come out. Actually, okay, let us read this one. Take not the stride, O growing soul of man, cast not thyself into that night of God. The soul's suffering is not eternity's key. By taking the Titan's road, you will be constantly suffering. That is not the key, you see. Or ransom by sorrow, heaven's demand on life. O mortal, bear, but ask not for the stroke. This is what we'll see that thing later on again. Now here, an eternal hero is his formless soul. Take not the stride of growing soul of man. This is a very deep advice. Therefore, he has already cautioned the mortal. Your path lies in aspiration, in asking for love, beauty, joy, peace, happiness. Your path is that. Don't be forceful, don't be egoistic, don't be like a titan and force the issue. Savitri's mother is demanding, why should not this happen? Why all this? You are taking titan's path. Don't do that. This is what he is basically telling her. Take not a stride of growing soul of man. In the Isha Upanishad, one of the most beautiful Upanishads, hardly 19-20 verses, and it's a very, very deep Upanishad. There is a shloka which says about the soul of man. Andham tamah pravishanti ye vidyamupasate tato bhuya eva te tamo ya u vidyayam rataha. This is the sloka from the Upanishad, and Shrevandu translated it. Into a blind darkness they enter who follow the ignorance. Titans wrote. Into a blind darkness they enter who follow the ignorance. Andham tamaha pravishanti. Andham, darkness. Tamaha, tamas, pravishan. They enter into darkness. Into a blind darkness they enter who follow the ignorance. Pravishan. Te vidyamupa, avidya. Avidya, that is ignorance. Who follow the path of ignorance, they enter into a blind darkness. They, as if into a greater darkness, who devote themselves to knowledge alone. If you remain exclusively confined to knowledge, vidya, then you as if enter into a greater darkness. Than the darkness you will reach through ignorance. If you follow ignorance alone, you enter into a darkness. If you follow knowledge alone, you will enter into a greater darkness than you would enter through ignorance. It is more dangerous. It's more dangerous, you see, that way. What he means is that knowledge of the Supreme, yes, okay, but then what has happened? You have lost the world. You have fallen into a greater darkness as far as the world is concerned. As far as the world is concerned, we fall in darkness, you see. You should not follow that exclusive path. The path has to be an integral path. In other words, you have to know the truth of ignorance as much as the truth of knowledge. What is the truth behind? Why there is ignorance? They have to know. Why there is ignorance? Why there is pain? Why there is suffering? You have to know that. That is a greater knowledge which you have to acquire. By simply speaking of knowledge, bliss, happiness, power, love, joy, etc., etc., you go away there and forget the whole thing. You see. That is not going to help you. That is a greater darkness that follows. So the Upanishad is very clear about it, and he says, they, as if into a greater darkness, who devote themselves to the knowledge alone. In other words, there is a certain necessity of the nirvana. By not attending to your lower nature, you have entered into a greater knowledge, all right. But then what happened here? It has become greater darkness. That is not the way. What is it? Take not the stride, O growing soul of man, cast not thyself into that night of God, not night of the evil of God Himself. A greater darkness, as the Upanishad says, by following exclusively the path of knowledge, you are entering into a greater darkness.
Concentrate only on the mind.
Beyond mind. Exclusively, if you follow only the spirit alone, then what happens to nature?
Can we say that Advaita Vedanta Shankaracharya, can we say that this way is darker in the world?
No, Chaya is only shadow. This is the real darkness. This Chaya is only shadow. Chaya is only a shadow.
No, I mean Shankaracharya.
Huh.
Advaita Vedanta.
Okay.
Nitya.
Yeah.
Maya.
Huh.
Is it this?
He is not able to explain Isha Upanishad, Shankara.
So this is.
In fact, that has been the greatest stumbling block for Shankara to explain the Isha Upanishad. You have simply dismissed it by calling it mithya or avidya or by calling it maya, illusion, you see. You are not really understood the nature of nature here. Yeah, exactly.
Don't follow this way.
Yeah, don't follow. That is what Shankara was doing, exclusive path. In fact, that is why you can see that, Shivandu says, nirvana is a very positive thing, what Buddha is speaking in that sense. It is the inconscient part of you, it is that we should go away. That should be blown off.
But it's a negative way.
You have to empty it out. If you hold falsehood in you somewhere, how can truth come and stay? How can it? You have to empty it out. So that way, this is very powerful. In fact, that is why Shivandu says, so to say, the necessity of Buddha being there in the spiritual process of evolution. Buddha becomes an avatar for that. To establish the nirvana is an avataric work. In fact, he is really tackling the essence of the inconscient nature. That has to be kept aside, kept away. And Shivandu says also that the work of Buddha is necessary for the work of transformation, obviously. And he also says that although historically Buddha came after Krishna, spiritually his work precedes the work of Krishna. Spiritually his work comes before the work of Krishna.
But for me, it was always not contradiction, but Shravana is talking about the purification. The synthesis he talks about the necessity of the purification. So Buddha is talking about the absence of thought.
Yeah. Not just thought alone. Thought is one part of it.
Yeah, but
the whole inconscient nature which is there in you.
Yeah, but he starts with a thought, and you don't.
Yeah, thought is one beginning. You have to empty it out. Thought is not born in mind. Thought comes from the universal plane.
Yeah.
It enters in you.
Yeah, but how to keep it out?
You have to keep it out, exactly. So something has to happen here.
Something has to happen, but it doesn't happen.
Yeah. It comes from the universal plane. You see.
Anyway,
the thought comes as a guest to you. You allow it to flourish.
Yeah.
You feed him, you give him a feast, you give him food.
But there is a difference between the purification of the feelings and what he says in the synthesis. You purify. This is the purification.
No, but that is the case of an individual sadhana. Here he is talking now in terms of the principle. What is required in terms of the spiritual principle is, unless you empty out of the inconscient stuff in you, you cannot put there the divine presence in you. How can it be? You have to empty out before the divine comes and enters in you.
But that is the supermind.
No, supermind will come when?
The supermind only
Supermind will not come when? Supermind will come only when you have emptied out.
When there's no more inconscious.
Yeah.
Then we can wait.
You don't expect supermind will come and do everything for you.
Yes.
You want the supermind to do all the purification for you.
But the supermind, we don't need anymore to make this purification.
You have to do that is your part of the job. Yeah. Your part of the job. Take now the stride. You see, you have to do that. You see, you have to do this. It is your responsibility to lend yourself to God's working. then God will work. You have, the very clear thing is there, put yourself in the hands of the mother and then she will do whatever she wants to do of you. Put yourself in the hands of her. That is your responsibility.
Yeah, but we are impure, so we give
No, no. We think we had put, but then put yourself in the hands of the mother, it means everything.
Yeah, exactly.
All your ignorance, all your darkness, you have to understand, you have to purify, you have to do a long sadhana. That put yourself in the hands of the mother is a very, very big phrase.
Yeah.
And we have to offer our
Yeah.
obscurity, our limitation, our
Yeah.
resistance, our
Yeah.
thought, our mind.
It is a part of your job. Don't think that she will come and work in your ignorance. He's very clear about that. That don't think that she will come and do sadhana for you. He very clearly says that.
But if we offer ourselves,
Pardon me?
if we offer,
Yeah.
she will come.
No, but see, it means that there is certain open, etc. These are of course words for. Basically, what it means is that the element of sadhana is your responsibility. See, a certain part is there for you to play, and then when the real thing starts happening, she will take charge of it because you don't know those. She will take care of you from that point onward. Put yourself in the hands of the mother, it means that whole job is with you for, then later on she will do whatever.
But Shamino says very clearly, aspiration from below, answer from
Yeah, that's
above.
right. Yeah.
And, two,
Yeah, yeah, that's a double path.
yeah,
That's a double path. Yeah.
And also
Aspiration.
this
So in fact, unless that aspiration is there, that triangle is not formed. I mean, that the square is not formed. No, there is this job to do. Huh? And I think that is a responsibility we can't shirk. And we have opted for that. Otherwise, we would not be here. We have opted for that.